Hello, YouTube. This is my first video of 2015. My next couple of videos will be kind of sharing a little bit about my testimony and covering topics such as divorce, codependency, depression, weight loss, being more healthy, and of course, it'll still have the, I guess, Christian undertone with a positive message. All of my testimonies that I plan to share, I'm sharing not to make anyone look bad, especially when I'm talking about my divorces, but to just help others and to kind of shed light or kind of tell Satan, hey, I survived, how they say, tell the truth, shame the devil. That's what I'm trying to do, to kind of say, yes, I went through it. I'm a survivor. I'm not going to play the victim role anymore. All that good stuff. So my first video of the year will be entitled, or is entitled, Never Make a Man Your God, Lessons from a Divorcee. And I guess I want to first read a little bit from my autobiography that I'm working on, and then I will share a little bit of background story about my first marriage, and kind of, I guess, give tips at the end. So, starting off from my autobiography, it reads, I've constantly settled and searched instead of waited. Loved whoever loved me. Look for that quick, fast, and in a hurry type of fairy tale relationship. If you gave me attention, I pretty much gave it right back, no matter the background or what you had. Whatever popular app that was out to meet new people, I had it on my phone. And just to pause or break, that means tagged, plenty of fish, the most recent, past couple of years apps. Back in the day, way back in high school, when MySpace, Mahente, Black Planet, all that. I was on this stuff. Let's see. So continuing on, disregarding the whole scripture, Proverbs 18:22, that reads, Whosoever findeth a wife findeth a good thing and obtaineth favor of the Lord. I guess I thought God needed my help. Here, let me put myself out there to be found a little easier. So still learning to love myself. When you love yourself, you know your worth and what is best for you. Back then, I simply wanted to be loved and wanted, not realizing that I should have turned to God for that void to be filled. Going through my first divorce showed me to never worship a man and put him on the same level as God. Never make him your source of self or happiness. When he decided to walk away, he ripped half of my whole being away. Actually, it ripped who I was away because I didn't know who I was after he left. And pretty much saying I didn't know who I was before we even got married, which is how the problem actually started. Right after college, or first I wanted to share a quote. You know the quote that says, oh, they complete me. That is so wrong. Years ago, I learned a new phrase or a new quote, the first one, revamped, basically saying they are to compliment you. When you are in a relationship, or when you are in either a marriage or a committed long-term relationship, nobody should be walking around saying that other person completes them. Because what does that really say when they leave, or when y'all break up, or something goes wrong? If they're completing you and they leave, that means half of you is gone. So it's better stated, they compliment you. Sort of like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. You can have a peanut butter sandwich. Some people may want jelly sandwiches, but put together, it makes it that much more sweeter. So just, to share that quote. Now for my background story, just to kind of lay the foundation for you to really understand where I went wrong. Like I said, before I got married, I didn't really have that whole self-love down pat. I was not I mean, I like myself. I guess you could say I loved myself, but I didn't fully understand it. And with me having those issues and trying to go into something, especially like a marriage, that is very damaging when the both of you cannot handle it together. Um, so, right after college, or let's see, I graduated December 2006. When we got engaged, I moved in to his apartment, which was a whole nother mistake. Moved into his apartment right after graduation and miscarried right after graduation as well. So we were like engaged and living together, and all that was happening at the same time. So I didn't really have time to be on my own or uh, grow up, I guess. I went straight from the dorms into his apartment, okay? And once we had the miscarriage, you know, we were still engaged and everything. We got married like maybe 6 months later. We got married April 2007. Little while after that, I got pregnant again, but it ended in a tubular pregnancy. I could not keep it. Um, so all of this is going on. You know, we're newly married, and then let's see. Within our marriage, we were married a year and 9 months. He left me 3 times. 3 times. In the midst of all of that, that is when I prayed the most, which is really bad. You're supposed to always be praying, but I found myself praying more, trying to get closer to God even more when He would leave me, which was kind of, you know, a red flag right there. Like, okay, you're coming to God more because something's going wrong. But in the end, you know, I learned the lesson. You know, sometimes God has to, like, I mean, take you straight to the ground, face to the ground, to really get you to understand how important He should be in your life and nobody else. Let's see. So I was like super duper depressed after my husband left that third time. And when I say depressed, I'm talking about when I would get off work, I would go straight home and sleep on the couch. I didn't even most nights make it upstairs to the bedroom. I was on the couch. Then I got to the point where I started drinking wine, thinking, okay, well, the wine will put me to sleep faster, or the wine will help to numb the pain that I was feeling. I wanted to die, like literally die, and I didn't have a large group of friends. I did not my mom was like maybe 45 minutes away, but of course I didn't want to be around anybody. I just wanted it to either the pain to go away, or I wanted him to come back. All the way up to the divorce, I was like, God, you're going to do this. You're going to bring him back. We're going to be restored. I was on all types of focus groups, websites and stuff, trying to, you know, lift myself up to get other people's testimonies and say, oh, well, their husband came back, so mine is going to come back. Didn't work out that way, but everything happens for a reason. But let's see. After I moved out of our house and I moved out on my own, and I didn't depend on him for bills or anything like that, I started making a lot of bad mistakes, a lot of fleshly bad mistakes, and I was jumping into rebound relationships. I'm talking about new booze, old booze, exes, all sorts of stuff. I was trying to do any and everything that I could to mask or hide or, you know, get rid of that pain. So I felt like physical pleasure would help me to get rid of the emotional pain. um so it was very damaging, and I do believe it was damaging because I made him my God. And it was like once he was gone, like I had nothing. I didn't have hobbies that I was doing. I didn't have friends I was hanging out with. Anything fun. It was like most of the time revolved around him and his friends. And, you know, I didn't have my own life. Like it was horrible. Let's see. So last note, on this section of the video. I never really healed, and I was so badly broken because I was never whole when we got married. So that's a very big quote of this video. Um, I was already messed up before we got married because I didn't have a life of my own. I had left my church to join his family church, and it was just like I lost myself in him. He became my everything, and it took him leaving me in order to truly see the entire time I should have been focused on God. And I'm not saying I'm perfect because, again, in later videos, you'll see I went and jumped into another marriage that ended in a divorce after 10 months. But that's neither here nor there. The whole point of the video is to say never make a man your God, because you will get into so many issues and it's damaging to your spirit, you know. So I have 3 tips that I wanted to share to kind of wrap up the video. The very first tip, of course, would be to, before jumping into a committed relationship or especially a marriage, be sure that you have your own life established. Your hobbies, of course, your job, your career, but hobbies like going to poetry nights or kickboxing or working out, doing all sorts of stuff. Make sure you're doing things on the side apart from that man or that woman. For guys who are watching this video, make sure you have a life outside of that person. Let's see, because God forbid if they leave, there goes your happiness, there goes your life. You need to have your own life established before getting married. Let's see, also, truly love yourself, every part of yourself, because if you get into that mode of I love me, I'm beautiful, or for the men, I'm handsome, when you have that self-love within yourself and that person decides to leave and they don't want to be there anymore, you could actually say, okay, I understand, God, I get it, you have a plan, but I still love me. When my first husband left me, I wasn't feeling any kind of self-love, okay? Now, when I did lose the weight, I was like, oh, wow, I got a benefit out of it. But I was not in that mode of building myself up or loving myself. That came later. And it took the divorce for me to actually get there. So, again, number 2, truly love yourself. Understand what it means to love yourself. So, if no one else is loving you, you love you. Okay? And third, last point or last tip, the most important tip, make sure God is your God, nobody else. Make sure God and His Word is your everything. Lose yourself in Him, because the deeper you are in love with God, the harder it will be for you to fall sinfully in love with a man or a woman, for men who are watching. And when I say fall sinfully in love with another person, I mean that unnatural or that ungodly type of passion or love, where it's mostly probably lust, or you're not really spiritually connected with the person. They're just there out of physical pleasure or emotional pleasure. They're not there to kind of benefit you. So you start liking them just because they're around, okay, and they're taking up space. So that third thing, again, make sure God is your God. Make sure God is your everything. And on top of the number 2 fact or the number 2 tip that I had, when you love yourself and then you truly love God and you're in His Word constantly, God forbid if someone decides to leave your life that you're in love with and you've given your time and energy to, if they leave, you still have God. God is like nobody else. Everyone knows that. And no one can love you or cherish you or be there for you or bless you like God can. And I just want to end with the title of this video: never make a man your God. And for men that are watching, never make a woman your God. Truly lose yourself in God, and He will show you who that person is that He wants in your life. And if anything were to happen, you'll love yourself and you'll have God, and He will make everything right. So, thank you for watching, and be blessed.